Hello and welcome to Bulela Podcast. My name is Inutu and I have a special guest for you this week. I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I did making it. Remember, you can find Bulela Podcast on Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter. Check the description box for links to previous episodes as well as where you can find today's guest. Enjoy! Welcome to Bulela Podcast. My name is Inutu J Mubanga. Today, I am very, very fortunate, very lucky to have a very special guest. I'm going to let her tell us about herself in a little bit, but just a reminder, you will find information linking previous episodes of the podcast, as well as information about my guest today, Tadalisika. Thank you for making time to come to Bulela Podcast. Please tell my viewers and listeners who you are and what you do.
All right. Firstly, thank you so much for having me. Okay. My name is Tadalisika Zulu. I am a civil engineer. I work in construction, and for the past couple of months, I have been working at the Kenneth Kaunda wing.
Yes.
So, to everyone who's like in Zambia and outside, basically the place that hosted the African Union Media Coordinating Summit for 2022. I was literally the only female engineer who was part of that technical team, straight from the ground up to the building that you saw in like the videos, pictures, and everything.
Wow. Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
First of all, super kudos for being the only woman. It's an
Thank you.
inspiration. I think, like many people who are on social media, when your story popped up, when you tweeted that you had been interviewed, then I think a lot of people are like, oh, okay, yes, who is she? So I initially got interested when you posted that the Chinese news agency had interviewed you, because a lot of people on my timeline also for Bulela Podcast Twitter, they retweeted it. So I thought, oh my God, I hope I can interview her one day, hopefully. So thanks for letting us know. I will have a photo somewhere here, maybe, of the building that you were just talking about, because I will take some from your social media. Okay. So thanks for that, Tadani.
All right, no problem.
Could you tell us? I ask all of my guests this one. Are you a fan of Bulela Podcast? And which one is your favorite episode?
Okay, so I actually started following you through social media, so it was via your Twitter. So I have been like getting information about the podcast through Twitter a lot. But for the podcast itself, I've watched like 2 episodes. It was a little bit crazy with work, so I fell behind on like all my podcasts. So I feel like I can't really pick between the two because I'm just like, I need to go through all of them. So when I get through all of them, I'm gonna send you a tweet and say, this one is my favorite.
I
Apart from
hope
mine.
this interview that we're doing is going to be your favorite. Okay.
Yes.
At least this one.
Yes.
Okay. But thank you. I appreciate that you say that you follow Bulela Podcast on social media, on Twitter especially. I'm super active on there. So thank you very much. So now let's talk about why have I invited you to Bulela Podcast? Okay, personally, I would like to find out about your journey or your career in civil engineering. Why civil engineering? What was your journey like? Was it like maybe because so and so is doing it, or I like this? Tell us how you got into civil engineering.
All right. Okay. So growing up, I liked two things. I liked planes, and I kind of liked looking at pictures of like cool buildings, and I was good at math. So I actually didn't know that engineering was like a course. I was just like, okay, maybe I'll be an accountant. It's okay. I'll just maybe try to travel as much. But when I wrote my sorry, when I wrote my grade 12, and I was, that whole gap, having to wait for the results to come out.
Yes.
My mother was like, no, you're not staying in my house. Go live with your sister. My sister was living in Kabompo at the time. That was like 2013. If anyone has ever been to Kabompo, when I went there was like no infrastructure. The only tarmac that we had was from Solwezi going to like Angola. That's it.
Wow.
The first 1 week I was there was absolutely no power because we're not on the Zesco grid yet. So we literally used to use the generator. So first 1 week, absolute blackout. And I was like, I hate this place. Why am I here? But because I lived there for some time, it was kind of like an eye-opening experience. You'd
Yes.
find the hospital is far. There's no electricity, like proper electricity, so you have no bakery, so you have to get everything from like Solwezi. And it's like, okay, I just finished grade 12.
Mhm.
I'm 15. What can I do to make a difference? So I was
Yes.
like, okay, I need to like think about what I'm good at, what I like, and kind of find a course that kind of combines all of them. So in
Mm-hmm.
thinking about that, I kind of reached engineering, and my two options were either civil engineering or aeronautic engineering because I was like, okay, planes, infrastructure. But just being in Kabompo itself, I was just like, nah, I need to be a civil engineer. I need to help construct infrastructure that will help the people around me because if it's that's I think from living in Lusaka and Chipata a lot, going
Yes.
to a place where it's like completely
Okay.
underdeveloped, just like no, it's like I need to do something. I didn't want to be like, okay, I'm like, now I want to have the skills needed to actually like I'll get my hands dirty. I'm like, I'll roll up my sleeves. What can I do? So
Yeah.
that's how I chose civil engineering.
Okay. I love, kudos to your mom. Shout out to your mother. Shout out to your sister, because directly or indirectly, your decision to become a civil engineer was, led by them, where your sister was living. I really like that you shared that. And I like that you said, I want a skill that's going to help me develop or build infrastructure, because a lot of Zambia is, you said it yourself, it's much, much bigger than just Lusaka or the big cities of like Chipata,
Yeah.
you've talked about Kabompo. So we need
Yeah.
to realize that there's more to Zambia. Yes, it's beautiful and everything, but
Yeah.
imagine the people of Kabompo, if they're always having blackouts, how much does that put them behind in terms of development or catching up with Lusaka?
Yeah.
So I love
Mm-hmm.
that your love for your profession started there and solving a solution. Okay, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So when you
Thanks.
could you tell us, what was it like? Okay, you decided you wanted to do civil engineering. So going to university, studying, what was that like? Did you study in Zambia, or did you have to go overseas? Tell us a little bit about the education and the making of Tadalisika the engineer.
All right. Okay. So I turned 15 during the grade 12 exams. Like I think we said the exams on the 8th of October, and I
Yes.
turned 15 on the 12th of October. So when I completed school, while all my peers were a little bit older, I was literally 15 years old. And then the exam, like the results came out the next year, February. So it's
Uh-huh.
that situation of I remember I went to ONS, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do engineering. I went so excited, University of Zambia, like it's the best school in Zambia. So I
Yes.
went there, I'm like, I wanna study engineering. And they asked me how I'm like, your results. I'm like, hey, I have them. Don't worry, I meet the qualifications. I've got my one in math.
Yeah.
I've got this. I've got my distinctions. And they told me, how old are you? And I'm like, 15. They're like, no, you're too young. I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm like, I have the I have the results that match. I can do engineering. They said, no, 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 you're too young. Engineering students must be at least 18 years old to enroll. I'm just like,
Wow.
I literally was like, question, you said 18. My birthday is in October. So can I
Yeah.
enroll at 17? They're like, no, you
Yeah.
have to be 18. Wait the next year. So that
Oh,
meant I would have to wait for 4 years at home
wow.
just to reach the age requirement that will allow me to get into UNZA. That,
I I don't know about this age requirement, huh?
yeah. So it was tough. 2014. Actually I've met some people who are just like, oh yeah, they told me I was too young. So I'm like, I'm not alone. So I had to look outside. So at the time I wasn't even aware of like things like scholarships. So I had to look for a country that's cheap enough that my parents can and like my family can afford. So
Oh,
China kind of fits the bill. Because at the
okay.
time it was like 1-to-1.
Yes.
So I ended up going to China. I went to Wuhan University of Technology in
Oh, so you
Chinese,
speak
Wuhan Ligong.
Chinese?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, like
no,
yeah.
go on.
Oh yeah, okay. So I went to like in Chinese Wuhan Ligong, Zai Wuhan. I can actually interchange between English and Chinese. So in Wuhan itself, Wuhan was like I guess everyone kind of knows it now because of COVID. But
Yeah.
before then, a lot of people are like, do you mean Shanghai? Like they'd always just say a random city that everyone kind of knows. They'd always just say this too. Do you mean Shanghai or do you mean Beijing? I'm like, no, no. I mean Wuhan. And Wuhan itself, it's an amazing place.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of like the university capital, I think, because it's got 21 globally ranked universities in just Wuhan alone, and like
Wow.
over 99. Yeah. So you've got lots of international students, lots of universities. So you get to interact with like different people from different countries.
Mm-hmm.
Even like my classmates were from like all over, like
Yeah.
exchange students. So it was an eye-opening experience because I got to interact with people from nationalities. That's like, wait, which country are you from? I had never some of the countries I had never heard of. Like Samoa, I didn't even know like there was a country called Samoa. And the person's like, oh yeah, I'm from Samoa. I'm like, where?
Yeah.
The one that got me was Tonga.
Ah,
There's an
yes,
island called
because in
Tonga.
Zambia we have the
I
language.
literally was like, I was just like, that's a language. They're like, no, it's my. I'm like, no, that's a language. These are some of the experiences I had.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Look at
Yep.
that. Now it makes sense like why the Chinese news agency interviewed you. You graduated
Yep.
from their university. So it's a lot of, I'm sure, a lot of pride on their part. But anyway, I wish you had found a scholarship initially because I know paying for international school fees is a big strain financially on families. So again, kudos to your family for seeing you through university, and we're here and we're talking about the amazing work that you've done. Okay, you talked about working on two big projects. You recently tweeted about it. I think, did you work
Yep.
on the international on part you worked on part of the conference, where the Kenneth Kaunda wing, where the African Union conference was just held. But then what other big project did you work on? Did you work on the airport? No. Yes.
Yeah. Funny enough, my my CV has got like a lot of large projects due to like Amanda government and kind of gets to work on all of these large projects.
Good.
But my treat was I had a that thing of memories on Google Photos, so they were showing me
Yes.
past memories,
Yes.
and they brought up pictures from the at the time when I was working at the Kenneth Kaunda Airport. I was just like,
Airport.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then it clicked. I was like, wait. It actually clicked as one. I've worked at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport
Yeah.
and at the Kenneth Kaunda Wing, and then I'm
Yes.
also like a Rotarian, and I'm under the Rotaract Club of Lusaka. But what made it
Ah.
like psh, was the fact that KK was actually a Rotarian and he
Oh.
got his pin from the Rotary Club of Lusaka. And I'm just like, wait, what?
Destiny. It was meant to be. I think when
Yeah.
we think about KK and maybe the vision that he had for Zambia and the youth, I don't know if you're a fan of Sampa the Great, but her video just came
Yep.
out, Never Forget, and she has this little clip of Kenneth Kaunda talking about just the gist, okay, not the exact word for word. I can't do word for word, but sort of like talks about how the youth are important. So I think if KK were here, he would be thoroughly pleased that you're a young person, you're working on these projects. And I mean, it's great that you're working for government. Kudos for them for seeing your talent and hiring you. Because I'm always crying about how, when I tweet, I'm always crying about how employ more women, appoint more women. So I'm so happy that you're in the ranks and fingers crossed, you excel and you grow and you inspire more young women to join you in civil engineering. Okay, I love your story. I really, really love your
Yeah.
story. So tell us, walk us
Thank you.
through a
Mm-hmm.
day, okay, working on a project. You can talk about a past project. So let's say at the end of the project, what are you taking off? What are you looking
Yeah.
for as a civil engineer for you to say, okay, this our project is now complete. So tell us what that would be like.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll do it in two ways. I'll do it during the project and like at the end. So
Good.
during the project, but in my case, my title was the clerk of works. So I was placed on site to kind of represent the government and ensure that everything the contractor does matches the construction drawings. So what I used to do was I actually had to study lots of drawings because you have like the architecture drawings, structural, water, electrical. In most cases, you kind of have the individual field. So you have like an electrical engineer, you have a water engineer, you have their own architect.
Yeah.
But for this project, unfortunately, I guess fortunately, I was the
Fortunately.
only one.
Yes.
I was the only one. So I had to oversee all of these areas.
Yeah.
So my day would be in the morning when I arrive, I would look through any drawings I needed to do. So I would have a schedule of works to say, okay, for this day or for this time frame, the contractor is working on this section. We'll take
Yes.
like the middle section, for example, the main auditorium. Everyone just loves that place.
Yeah.
I would look at the drawings. So I would look at the electrical drawings and the structure drawings and the water drawings. I would look at these three together and have
Mm-hmm.
like a copy on my phone. We're working during COVID time. So like paper was just not a thing. We're just like that whole touching,
Ah,
touching. I'm like,
yes.
yeah. So that wasn't doable. So I'd have like the PDFs and AutoCAD drawings on my phone.
Yeah.
So I'd be in the office for like the first 30 minutes just to look through them, say, okay, what is this? What's happening? Then I would head on to sites.
Okay.
Safety is important. So helmets, mask, because even COVID, my sanitizer in my pockets, safety shoes, reflector jacket, or like my work suit. And then I would
Yeah.
head on to sites. I
Okay.
would literally, every time they're doing steel, I would walk through every single area where they've laid the steel. Is it the same? Is it the right size?
Yes.
Is it the right spacing? I'd have like the measuring tape. Is it the right spacing? Have they put
Wow.
the right shape? What is the overlap for the two bars?
Yeah.
All of that. So I'd kind
Wow.
of check to make sure everything just matches what's in the drawing.
Yeah.
When they're pouring concrete, I need to see, okay, we need to get concrete for the cube tests. We need to test, like you get to test concrete at certain stages.
Yes.
So I'll be there to witness. I'm like, okay, that's fresh concrete. It's straight from the thing. You're getting the concrete. Okay, for the tests, I'm there.
Wow.
But that's during construction.
Yes.
At the end of construction, that's when you get to have to do like the nitty gritty, the architecture things.
Yeah.
Are the towers all flat?
Mm.
I like to just literally just go into a room, just put my feet down and just like drag my feet. If I feel any hump, I know like, okay, something is wrong here. It has to be fixed. It's like the easiest way.
Yeah.
But I have to look, okay, we literally had a chart for the color of the walls, the type of towers in that area, the
Yeah.
lighting schematics, all of that. You have to look and be like, okay, is it the right kind? Okay, if there's something wrong, you mark it down. I'm like, okay, what's this? Explain. Have you changed the drawing? Has there been an update? Let
Yeah.
me know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Oh my
So it's
word.
kind of, yeah.
No, no. I mean, I have absolutely no idea about civil engineering. So you've just given me like a civil engineering for beginners, but I love how hands-on and involving it was. And you were about to say,
Mm-hmm.
usually you have the water engineering person or the electrical engineering person and the structural engineering person, but you had to, look at
Yeah.
the drawings for all of these three. Yes, it's a lot, but then also it's sort of
Yep.
like I don't think they would have put you on it if they didn't think you could handle it, or manage it.
Yep.
So kudos to you. I've
Yep.
seen photos only. I hope one day I can see these buildings. I'll be like, I interviewed somebody who worked here. No, worked here, no, who helped
Yeah.
put this together, but amazing work,
Yep.
amazing work. So tell us about the work environment, okay? So
Yep.
you're the youngest. I think you've tweeted that.
Yep.
Sometimes you've been the youngest woman on the project. And what is that like? How is it you coming, into a room like, hello, I'm here to check if what you've done is working. Do people pay attention to you? Just tell us what's the vibe like on a work project?
Yep. Okay, so for example, for like the KK wing, I started the project at 21 years old. So I remember one of the engineers was like, I came to Africa in 1998. I'm like, sir, that was the year I was born. What do you mean? So I was literally that young. So I was the youngest and I was the only woman. And it's actually been a struggle because I remember I'll be in the meeting and the thing is actually kind of I'm happy for like the only reason I'm able to like speak this way or be able to like express myself in like work environments is I've had amazing bosses and supervisors and when females lead. To explain a bit, my first ever like site meeting ever was at Minor Circle Hospital. Like that was like my supervisor like, going to Minor Circle, get your things. I'm like, okay, I was just going. And I went there and he says, we went for an inspection. And at the end, my boss is like, oh yeah, you're going to do the meeting, like you're going to speak about what you've seen as a structure engineer. I'm like, I literally was like, no, I can't do this. What? Minor Soko had like, you had the army there, you had like, and I'm just like, all of these people like, that, like you know, like for the army, they've got on same thing.
Their
I'm not sure like
ranks.
the ranks, and I'm just like, I can't do this. I cannot do this. And my supervisor looks at me and says, you're an engineer. You know the same things I do. You're just as capable. Represent us. And
Wow.
I literally was so nervous. And I was giving my report and I was shaking. And
Oh,
at least the people from like the government were able to help me out. That
yeah.
was about like my first experience. And then fast forward, I'm at the Kenneth Counter wing and I'm the clerk of works. And every single meeting, I have to give a report. At
Yeah.
times when I'll have like a meeting with like maybe as the subcontractors and whatnot. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're the one who's supposed to chair the meeting. I'm just like, this is a lot. But I had to
Yeah.
kind of grow. And the first time the minister came, I literally ran away. My one of my supervisors, the structure engineer, kid you not, one of the structure engineer, he's my supervisor, like he's the
Yeah.
chief engineer at the DPI. He comes and says, the minister is coming, you're the clerk of works, you're the one who's on site all the time. You need to lead the tour. And I'm just like, I
Wow.
can't do this. I cannot do this. I'm like, sir, I just turned 22. I'm like, I'm 22 years old. This is the minister. You've got all of these important people. You've got camera people here. I cannot do this. And
Yeah.
every time I left it to the project architects to do the talking. And every time, like the structure engineer, like, go there. This is your job. I'll literally just go and then go run away and just go to the sides just to avoid speaking.
Oh.
And that was such an issue that when females lead, it's an NGO. It was established by Madam Zinga Melu, CEO of APSA.
Yeah.
She kind of created, she created this platform where she said she wants to raise and empower young, confident African women.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I need this. I applied and they selected me for the innovator program. So I actually had to work with like a mentor who's an engineer who's got like over 10 years experience. And slowly we started like building my confidence and like being able to sit and say, okay, no, this is what's happening. So it was just a combination of having when females lead behind me and having great supervisors. So it's
Yes.
been a combination of both. Because
Yeah.
I was running. I'm like, oh, okay, people, yeah, bye.
Yeah.
I'll literally always
Yeah.
be in the background. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, okay, it's good. It's good that you shared that. I love that you had amazing supervisors.
Yeah.
I love that you saw an opportunity to, by joining women lead. That's the name.
When females lead,
When
when
females lead,
females lead.
oh my word, I'm mixing up
Yeah.
names. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I love that you took the initiative on your own and you signed up and you applied because you thought, okay, I can work on this. And just a little bit of someone else telling you you can do it and giving you the tools, that allow you to believe in yourself. I love that your first supervisor said, no, you're an engineer like me, you're on site, you know the work, so I think that's also a confidence boost if the people, the team that are with you give you the support and the confidence that you need. Okay, I mean, you tweet about the successes or the ends of the project, but nobody really knows this background story, clerk of works, first meetings with stakeholders. So I love that you've shared that with us. Okay, so you were very, very young, when you were trying to figure out university, etc. What tips would you give, a younger you or someone as young as you with the same aspirations as you? What are the things that you've learned and you could say, you know what, you want to do this, so do step 1, do step 2, step 3 to get to where Tadalisika is now?
I think the first one would probably be like I think for myself it'd be like, okay, just take some time. It's you don't necessarily have to know everything. You don't have to like be so certain. I had a when I was in university, I thought I'll have my bachelor's degree at 20, I'll have my master's at 23, I'll have my PhD at 26. I'm gonna be Dr. Zulu.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work out that way. So I would tell myself to like relax. But another thing is also to stay focused. You can relax, take time away from school just to kind of rest a bit, but to also stay focused. It was
Yeah.
imagine I went to university at 16 years old. I was on a different continent, different country. I literally went to China without knowing any person there. I got on a plane by myself, like a horse story from like missing my flights, everything like that. And
Yeah.
getting there is one of those situations where I kind of had to check myself and say, hey, I want to be an engineer. This is what I came for. Let me not
Yeah.
get distracted with how amazing or how kind of, I don't want to say fast, but like how different the life there is. It's that if you want to go out at midnight, you can. It's safe. If you want to go to just go have a cup of tea at like 2 a.m., you can do that.
Yeah.
But you also have to learn how to like manage your time right. That way you're able to study hard.
Yes.
I actually did a TikTok about it about like time management. I had like a bunch of apps to keep me in check
Yes.
and being able to take time away and be like, okay, I need to relax. Like school is stressing me out. I need time for myself. So it's
Yeah.
knowing how to balance it. And I
Yeah.
think another one I'd say is volunteer more. Just raise your hand.
Okay.
In university, I didn't. I feel like I didn't volunteer for as many things as I would have wanted. I know I volunteered for some of the school programs. Some I was like, I can't do this. There was like that student body thing. I thought about it, but I was like, would they listen to me? I'm like so young. And then the PhD students, the master students, I didn't put my name, I couldn't put my foot forward. So to
Yeah.
someone who's younger than me, like go for it. If it's a student council you want to be part of, go join it.
Yeah.
You got this. These are some of the things I was like, yeah, I wish I'd done. And have a good support system, even in your friends and family.
Okay. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I love this bit. So it's good that you mentioned that you were on TikTok because now I want to ask you to tell my viewers and my
Yeah.
listeners, okay, they're going to watch this interview. They're going to see that I interviewed Tadalisika Zulu. So where can my listeners and viewers find you on social media?
When it comes to social media, I use the same like username everywhere. I just use at very Tada, like the very for like very, and then Tada for Tada.
Mm-hmm.
It's a name that kind of came up in university, and I kind of kept it.
Good.
So I use it for TikTok, where I share more information about engineering, behind the scenes, or just to hope for more women to join engineering. Like we need more women in construction,
Yes.
design. Like we need more women in STEM. So if
Yes.
like you're like for my ladies, you got this. Please join STEM.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
the same thing. Twitter, Instagram, it's the same handle at very Tada.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Tadalisika. It's a very pretty name. You shouldn't shorten it to Tada. I mean, I
Thank
know
you.
maybe it's a mouthful for some people, even me just now, but I love it. It's so, so beautiful. And I really do feel blessed that you said, okay, yes, I would do the interview with you, Inutu. Thank you for sharing your journey, your career. I think we've just scratched the surface. We haven't even talked about everything, but I appreciate you. And to my listeners, check the description box. I'm going to have links in there to Tadalisika's social media, her TikTok especially, because she gives us insights on her career there. And I will catch everyone in my next episode of Bulela Podcast. Maybe you want to say bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you for sitting back and enjoying my interview this week. I hope you are able to catch up with other episodes if you haven't heard them. Remember, there are links in the description box. Bulela Podcast is on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Do follow and interact. And I hope to catch you in the next episode of Bulela Podcast.